PowerBoat Television is brought to you by Yamaha. Conquer water with Yamaha. Ford F-Series. Smart, tough, capable. And BoatBuys.com. Over 60,000 new and used boats for sale. Boat vacations are amazing, but what if you don't own a boat? Or what if you have one, but it's too far away from somewhere you've always wanted to check out? Historically, the main option was just renting a houseboat. But now, there's a new kid on the block, based right here in Smiths Falls, Ontario. And I am here with Sandy Crothers, base manager with LeBoat. If you haven't heard of LeBoat, then you probably haven't been to Europe because they've been there for what, 40 years?
40 years plus.
Here on the Rideau Canal, this is LeBoat's first non-European spot, right?
It is the first to stop in North America, and they will have other stops in Canada and in North America. And they have 900 boats plus in Europe, 38 bases in 9 countries. They are custom made for LeBoat by Delphia in Poland, and we have 2 models here, a 37-foot boat and a 44-foot boat, sleeping up to 10 people on the larger boat right now. This boat has a bow thruster and a stern thruster and is a single propeller, and we teach you how to use all that.
Pretty straightforward, intuitive kind of thing, right?
It is. We show you the initial aspects of it, and we come through a lock with you if you need to, and docking and undocking and starting off. We advertise you don't need experience.
Not at all? You could be a newbie and handle this?
You can be a newbie and handle this. If you rent a boat, any kind of boat, Sea-Doo, sailboat, powerboat, that company initiates you with a safety checklist and a trial run to make sure you're comfortable with it, and you sign off on that, and that is your boater's card for your charter.
I came here to tell all of these fine folks about this boat. But now I'm hooked. I'm not okay with this like half-day ride. I want to come and experience it. I know you guys are filling up really quick. You got any room for us?
Come back to September. I'm sure we can hook you up and have a great time.
Okay, witnesses, it's gonna happen. You have to do it now.
Well done.
True to their word, 3 months later, there was a boat available, so I recruited a few fellow LeBoat testers. My mother, stepfather, wife, and our 2-year-old son, who will join me as we head out to explore a section of the Rideau. First impressions on board are impressive. Nice boat! This is no dingy old houseboat. This is a quality cruiser. From the full-size sliding glass doors at the stern, all the way around, there's lots of natural light in the main salon. There are 2 fridges, and the drawers are already stocked with dishes and cutlery, so no need to bring your own or buy paper plates. And you can make proper meals here, thanks to the 4-element propane stovetop and the oven underneath. Of course, you've also got a microwave, and there's plenty of counter space. Up on the bridge, there's wraparound seating towards the stern with a large table. There's a sun pad with pop-up backrests along the centerline just in front of the helm, and the backrest on the benches midship flip forward for rear-facing seating. Also up here is a barbecue hot plate, more of a griddle than a grill. The Horizon 4 can be a 3 or 4 bedroom layout, the option being the bow can be 1 big room or split into 2. And every room has a private ensuite bathroom with shower, which is a nice luxurious touch. Linens, pillows, and small towels are on board. You'll need to bring your own beach towels, though. Now that we're all settled in, we have the choice of heading north towards Ottawa or south towards Kingston, which is what we opted for. A short lift at the detached lock station, and we're out of Smiths Falls Basin and on our way. From here, there's a winding but well-marked channel that plunges you into the solitude of nature. And with these boats being speed controlled, you're in no worries of breaking the 10 km/h limit. Finding one of these flat-as-glass patches of water now seemed like as good a time as any to pass off controls to my stepfather, Liam, aka Papa. Heading to our second lock, there's a very narrow channel, which could be a little intimidating if you had oncoming traffic. And once we arrived at the next lock, Liam relinquishes control to the rightful captain. Lock 32, Punamali, was first built in the 1830s. It's a manually operated lock with just a short lift of about 1.6 meters or just over 5 feet. And then, weaving a few more nautical miles, you come out into Lower Rideau Lake. The bow bench is a great spot to take in the sights or take some stellar video.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Wilson Cam.
Say cheese.
Say cheese, you're on Wilson Cam.
Daddy, say cheese.
Cheese.
Later in the show, we'll continue our journey along the historic Rideau Canal.
But tournament boats have enormous challenges when it comes to the wake. Well, it's a good thing Nautique has a few tricks up their sleeve. Wakeboarding and wake surfing have dominated the towboat scene for a while now. But the origins of these boats date back to 1961, when Correct Craft launched the very first Ski Nautique. 57 years later, we have a brand new Ski Nautique for 2019. And what a beauty she is.
The design team at Nautique continue to find innovative ways to distinguish their boats from the crowd. Angular elements from the hull find their way into the interior with these geometric patterns in the hull sides. Soft touch materials are used throughout the boat, including extensive use of color-matched EVA foam. The helm is dominated by Nautique's 12.4-inch Link Panerai touchscreen, which allows easy access to the myriad of controls required to shape a modern wake. We also find the same race car-inspired seat and wide armrest with a convenient helm control rotary dial. The passenger glove box houses the stereo controls, plus the heated seat control to help keep your spotter comfortable on those chilly mornings. Under the forward seat, we find a huge compartment with enough room for wetsuits, dry suits, and any other gear needed for a full day on the water.
Boy, ski boats sure have come a long way.
There are 2 lockable gunnel compartments, long enough for slalom skis, and there's even a convenient little hook for hanging the tow rope to dry.
And sometimes it's the little details that matter so much, like this padded cushion on the engine cowl and this angled footrest that coaches are sure to appreciate. There are 3 engine options available on the new Ski Nautique. The base engine starts at 400 horsepower, but what we have here is the Mac Daddy H6, a 6.2-liter direct-injected V8 that produces 450 horsepower and 465 pounds-feet of torque. This is the tournament engine.
And what a beast! Direct injection combined with all that torque translates into instant acceleration. A quarter throttle is all it takes to get on plane, and if you do crack it wide open, everybody had better be hanging on. Even turning a big rudder, steering effort is minimal, but these boats do turn on the proverbial dime. Far more important than handling, however, is the size and shape of the wake. After all, this is a tournament ski boat.
But tournament boats have enormous challenges when it comes to the wake. You know, boat speeds change and line lengths change for slalom skiing. And that creates pockets and holes in the wake that for short line skiers can be a real challenge. But it's a good thing Nautique has a few tricks up their sleeve. To start with, this is the first hull that Nautique's built that incorporates carbon fiber with the fiberglass to lighten the boat.
A lighter hull typically makes for a smaller wake, and Nautique claims this is the lightest tournament-class ski boat on the market. Since it is impossible to completely eliminate holes in the wake, Nautique uses adjustable plates to move them away from the skier. The hydrogate plate in the center of the transom can be lowered to modify the running surface, helping control the shape and location of the wake lip. Additionally, smaller micro-tuners are designed to disturb the water and help fill in the hole closest to the hull for shorter line length. The hydrogate and micro-tuners automatically deploy based on speed and line length.
This is also a 3-discipline boat, which means it has to be good for slalom, trick skiing, and jumping. And that's a big challenge, to have a flat wake for slalom, but still have a big enough wake for trick skiing. So this brand new Ski Nautique has 400 pounds of ballast built in. And that will build a little bit bigger wake for trick skiing.
Managing these systems is made easy by the Link Pan Array interface, which automates most of the settings based on discipline and line length.
Another great thing about the Link Pan Array system is it'll save different skier settings. Not everyone's going to ski at 41 off. So for those of us skiing 15 off, we can save our profile. And all of the systems that we want to engage for our profile remain saved in the system. Now you basically have to hammer the throttle with a 0 set speed done and just steer the boat. The rest is pretty much taken care of for you.
So we're out of the water here at Outer Harbour Marina in Toronto, Ontario, with friend of the show, Davit Smart, and we're gonna install a davit on the swim platform.
Just reverse that and you'll be almost close.
Take 9.
Anybody can get a job in television.
Davit Smart, friend of the show, Nautique, Ontario. How are you, buddy?
Good to see you, son.
So, you are the Ontario distributor for Hurley Marine products.
Hurley Marine's been in business for almost 20 years. The gentleman that actually, his name is Todd Hurley, so he put his name behind his own company.
So he's one of those guys that he boats himself, and he's like, you know what? He's one of those, there's got to be a better way in the infomercial. That's
That
him.
is exactly Todd.
And on that note, this is one of the products right here, right? This is the H2O.
That is an H2O. There's 4 or 5 different models. This is an H2O.
Davit system.
Davit system.
Right.
They come in an H3O and H3O Plus. The 3O Plus is so heavy duty, you can actually put a Sea-Doo Spark and park it on your platform if your platform is strong enough to hold that particular vessel. These are self-adjusting, as you see here.
Right.
That would end up being almost a flat-bottom dinghy
Right.
versus very, very sharp-ribbed dinghy. When it comes to difficulty, maybe a bit more than you can handle. However, most
This
people...
is not a roast.
Most people can drill 2 holes.
Wait a minute.
We have to drill 2 more over there for the other arm. That's 4 holes.
4.
That's how it's done. And this will hold 350 pounds. That particular material is not unbreakable, but close to it. They're actually manufactured in Escanaba.
Yeah. All like full-on made in USA. This isn't like
Full-on.
outsourced and
It's
shipped
not
over cheap.
outsourced. Exactly.
And you say that even I could install this.
Even you, Stephen.
Let's see. David was bang on. The H2O install requires 4 holes. And on this particular platform, the previous davit system had holes that matched up perfectly. They just needed to be cleaned out and widened slightly. Dry fit the plate and bolts first to make sure everything does line up just as you expect. Then secure it all in with a quality sealant and adhesive. And then screw the plates down. You might want to put a support plate underneath your platform to spread the weight out, but if it's solid and in good shape, washers will do just fine. Full disclosure, out of an abundance of caution, we decided to add a plate to this platform a couple days later. But that's all there is to it. You just have to do it twice, 1 for each removable arm. That is the easiest install I think I've ever done. It's manual, so depending on the weight of your dinghy, you might want 2 people. But many setups can be done single-handedly. You'll need to tie it down, and that's best done a few times to find out what works for your particular setup. Then you can find a more permanent solution, which could mean a few more holes to secure clips. Totally up to you. However you do it, once secure, you are ready to rock. And with one of the simplest installs I've ever done, you've got a quality, made in North America, davit system. This pursuit may be a rare find, but it's one that's definitely worth seeking out. In the 1940s, a man named Leon Slicker started working for Chris Craft. In 1955, he left Chris Craft and started making his own boats, Slick Craft, in his garage in Holland, Michigan. Now, fast forward to 1974, he's making S2 yachts. A couple years later, 1977, the first Pursuit fishing boat was born. Now, in 2019, they're among the high-end fishing boats you're gonna find. And this right here is an amazing used buy. It's a 2013 Pursuit C260. At the stern is a fold-out bench if you've got family and friends on board, and In the floor is access to the bilge. Within the transom itself is a 30-gallon or 114-liter fish box and a separate built-in cooler for drinks, both with overboard drains. Additional fishing features of note include the undergunnel rod storage on both sides and the aftermarket downrigger bases that have been added. At the bow, more comfy seating options with cushioned backrests, and under the bow benches, large storage compartments that drain overboard. Deep in-floor storage thanks to the deep B hull, and a through-hull windlass. The head compartment built into the center console is massive for a 26-footer. Now, if you're like me and lucky enough to spend a lot of time down south and in the waters around Florida, for example, you're gonna see a lot of pursuits and a lot of center consoles. But what you can't see that often is a pursuit up here in the Great Lakes. And that's why I'm out in October in the jacket, because when you hear that there is a freshwater pursuit available on the used market, you wanna get your hands on it. And I have, at least for a day. Something else I've heard is that center consoles don't work in northern climates, and I think that's just plain wrong. This boat, for example, has a nice high windscreen here, so you're protected from the elements. And as you can see all these zippers all the way around, it's got a full helm enclosure. As center consoles, and definitely pursuits, are fishing boats, on that hardtop, you'll find rocket launchers. And nice to note, the coverage of it is significant for rain and sun, extending well behind the leaning post. It's outrigger ready and features built-in overhead storage. For the evening angler, there's spreader lights and color-changing LED helm lights. The leaning post itself is wide enough for 2 people, and if you want to sit and relax versus lean, you've got individual bolsters. Underneath is battery access and switches, and attached behind is a 31-gallon or 117-liter live well. The helm itself features the digital Yamaha displays, giving you all you need for the twin F200s. And dead center is a Rideau Marine hybrid touch unit that allows you to customize your display from fish finder to charts to gauges. Underway, the pursuit is smooth and solid, and you immediately feel confident, which you want, especially in big water. The 21-degree dead rise and slightly wider than standard beam make for aggressive but confident handling. The smooth seas on test day didn't give a chance to see how well it handles big waves, so we cut across our decent-sized wake made by our camera boat and experienced no issues, rattles, or bangs. One thing I would like to see is a turning knob on the wheel, so you don't have to take your hands off to turn, but you can add that cheaply and easily yourself. The twin 200 horsepower Yamahas max out the power rating, and I found cruising between 31 and 37 miles per hour the most comfortable. The top speed was an impressive 51 miles per hour. The high-quality construction, excellent performance, and being a lifelong freshwater boat means this pursuit may be a rare find, but it's one that's definitely worth seeking out. It's the high point of the system. Water flows down towards Ottawa and Kingston from here. Back on board our LeBoat Horizon 4, we're in the middle of Lower Rideau Lake as we wind our way along a relatively short stretch of the Rideau Canal, which, all totaled, runs 202 kilometers from Kingston to Ottawa.
It's a beautiful place. So the Rideau Canal was constructed between 1826 and 1832. It was the brainchild of Lieutenant Colonel John By. The idea was to create a trade route that would be safe from the more exposed areas such as the St. Lawrence or the Ottawa River. This was on the heels of the War of 1812, so there was a concern about additional warfare or invasion. So this was a strategic military transport route originally, but it was never used as such. This is our 186th season, and it is the longest continuously operating canal in North America.
That history is why it's officially called the Rideau Canal National Historic Site, one that was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2007. Not simply a ditch dug from A to B, this utilized existing waterways as much as possible. So along your journey, you'll find yourself in large, winding rivers, in a few good-sized lakes, through well-marked channels, and yes, through a few man-made cuts and canals. But the locks are 100% legit. These are no recreations. This is as preserved as you'll find. Want proof? Well, just look closely at the walls.
And when you see the canal lock stations, you'll note that the masonry is slightly different at each lock station. And that's because the plans from the masons were deployed to the lock stations, and each person who was in charge of a lock station would interpret the plan. So there's a slight difference in each of the lock stations, very unique.
There's also a variety of stops along the way, and one that is hugely popular with Le Boaters is lunch at CC's on the Rideau, right at the main bridge in Rideau Ferry. They have a few private docks, and with bow and stern thrusters, getting in is a breeze. It can be a busy spot, but the patio is quite large, so finding a table should not be a problem. It's also a good stop for supplies because just beside CC's is a small store, which sells ice and things you would need ice for. Stocked up, we're back on the water again and heading southwest, away from Rideau Ferry, where we enter Big Rideau Lake, the largest anywhere along the entire waterway. Meanwhile, down below, fueled by pizza, there's a mutiny afoot. The controls down here are deactivated when you have them set to work up top, so we're actually safe, unless Captain Wilson seizes total control. In 1830, Colonel By built a dam, which created a new lake, Upper Rideau Lake. And to get into that, you've got to traverse Lock 35, the Narrows. At the western end of the man-made lake is the village of Westport, our first overnight stop. Thanks to an agreement with Le Boat, the mooring fee is taken care of, as are all the lockage fees, actually. Nice to not have to have those little expenses to add on. And thanks to a free shuttle, you can get to a local winery. One that, when the sun hits it late in the day, looks straight out of France or Tuscany. This is the Shireman Vineyard and Winery, and doing a tasting is a must. Family owned and operated, they have their kids helping out. And with a wood-fired pizza oven, there's always a little excitement in the air. A little dough humor for you right there. The wine was great, and the food was amazing. And thanks to their shuttles, you can get to and from easily and safely. Back at the dock, we see we have a new Le Neighbor, but with an early start ahead of us, no time to socialize. After a quick breakfast on board, we cast off on another sunny day, this time en route to Newborough. Kids aren't allowed to drive, but Wilson has grown up on boats, and at the very least, can help navigate. Which is good, because you've got to keep watch for the green markers and keep well north of a small island before turning south. It's a little over 4 nautical miles from the docks at Westport to the entry of the 1.5 kilometer long channel. This was cut to link Upper Rideau Lake and Newborough Lake, and this marks the divide between the Rideau River watershed and the Cataraqui Rivershed. Being man-made, gets a little narrow in one section, but there's lots of depth for these boats here. This also means it's the high point of the system. Water flows down towards Ottawa and Kingston from here, which means the red right returning we had on our way is now red to port. But that navigational detail, important as it may be, will wait until tomorrow, because this is home for the night and the perfect place to test out my son's new fishing rod. On that very successful note, we'll call it a day in yet another peaceful location, but with virtually all the amenities of a hotel. You get to experience Parks Canada beauty without having to actually camp in a park. To me, that is a huge bonus. We still have a lot more to see, so we'll continue this journey next week.